Hey guys, so Lord here, back in with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Masterverse new Eternia, Stratos, in all his Sean Connery glory. That said, this of course is brought to us by the fine folks over at, say it with me now, Mattel. And I gotta tell ya, while Stratos is not one of my favorite Masters of the Universe characters by any means, I mean just look at the Origins releases, kind of meh. I gotta tell you, I think Mattel did a bang-up job with this rendition of Stratos, and this might possibly be the best Stratos figure, period. That said, let's cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review. Take a look at Stratos' accessories, starting off with his alternate hands, which look like smack you across the mouth hands, so that's fun. I think they're supposed to be flying hands, but it's more fun to say smack you across the mouth. It also comes with the nightstick of Avion, or scepter, but again, like smack you across the mouth hands, nightstick is more fun to say. That said, he also comes with his buckpock here, which we will put on before size comparisons, don't worry. And then, it's the first time Stratos has a freaking beak, because he's got this breather here with this little tube. I'll explain that in a minute. But it is very much beak-shaped. And then if you take his fanny pack here, it's a fanny pack. Don't even come at me in the comments with some sort of exclamation as to what this is. It's a fanny pack. It wraps around his waist and rests on his abdomen. It's a fanny pack. There you go. But you could plug the breather into that via this little tube here, and then these sections plug into the side of the backpack here. It's got two little pegs, and that's what you can use that for. That said, taking a closer look at our winged warrior here, he looks awesome. I really like the kind of buffed up aesthetic of Stratos they went with here. I do believe he's using the same parts as Grizzlor from the Princess of Power subline, which is a figure I got first, and we'll be taking a look at next week probably, if I had to guess. But I like this look for Stratos. I think it's a lot cooler. Makes him look like way less of a cock, or simp, whichever slang you would prefer. And yeah, I can say wholeheartedly this is probably one of my favorite Masterverse figures of the year. Even though some people got him last year, I was not one of those people. That said, he does have his iconic Stratos face right there. He does have a little fin on his helmet there, which is new with his new Eternia thing. He's got the neck feathers a la the Alfredo Alcala mini comics. At least I'm pretty sure this was a mini comic thing exclusively. And look at that, he's got red wings. Red wings. How about that? Awesome. Suck on that, Origins. They still haven't given us a Stratos with blue wing, or red wings, and a blue backpack. Pretty sure this backpack's blue too, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. On top of the fact, the color palette is gangbusters. The sculpt is great. And the articulation is great as well, so take a look at that. His head can shift forward and back a little bit, rotate side to side. You do have to pop off the head to get the mask on, but we'll look at that in a minute. He does have 360 in the shoulder. I will say this shoulder's a little loose on mine, but not terrible. They can go out as long as the wings aren't in the way. And about these wings, they're actually not put on right in the package. They're on the wrong arms when you open it, so you got to pop the hands off, slide the wings off, and then slip them on the opposite arm, and that way they kind of look more like the vintage toy. I know the feathers pointed this way on the vintage toy, and it kind of works better with the arm, and B, it's a much more snug fit. They're not loosely hanging off his arms, so that is cool. He does have a bicep twist. He does have a double elbow, which you can actually utilize with these wings on this way and not loosen them up. There is a hinge joint right here that's functions via a little pin that plugs in from this piece into this top piece here. So you can really get some good range out of that. I mean, look at that, and it's not flopping all over the place. It's got a swivel in the wrist with a hinge. Wrong hinge on the grip hand, but whatever. He does have a diaphragm joint that does crunch forward. It does crunch back. It does tilt side to side and rotates, which is something they started doing with Too Bad. But you know what? I'm taking partial credit for that because I've been saying they needed to do that since the beginning of the line because it's just a better connection durability wise. You don't got to worry about something breaking because the waist kind of springs back into place. The torso, I mean. Speaking of the waist, he does have a waist cut. I will say his loin piece is not as soft as, say, Buzz-Off or Faker or Webstor, who are the other new Eternia figures we'll be looking at very, very shortly here. But you can probably heat it and get it out of your way. But as it stands, you can kick the legs up. It's doable. You can kick him out, back down. He's got a thigh cut. He's got a double knee. That works pretty well. There you go. And straighten that back out. He's got a calf cut. And he's got a rocker in the foot. If I can get it to work here. He's got a hinge in the foot with a rocker joint. I think I said rocker instead of hinge. Oh well. He's got peg holes at the bottom of the feet for the display stand. He does not come with, but I'm sure you could rig something up. I always say that the Todd Father DC Multiverse stands work well with these guys, and because that logo is barely legible, it should be fairly easy enough to hook them up with one of those. I will say this lower leg on mine's a little floppy. Little bit. It's fine right now, mostly because it's ice cold. You know, it's like a Foreigner song up in here, cold as ice. So he's nice and solid, although I think his foot's off, and that's why he does not want to stand. So, as far as gearing him up, we got the backpack ports on the back, and you do got to kind of line it up just right, or else it won't go in. So bear with me while I attempt this. There we go. And as far as that mask goes, you do have to pull his head off, which is a pretty tight fit. But I didn't have to heat it to pop it off, clearly. You just saw that. You can also tuck these neck feather thingies into the space between his backpack and his body. That kind of helps. But standing him there for a minute. This mask here, it's a little tricky to get on the first time around, but once you've gotten it on a couple of times, it gets a little easier because you've stretched it out. Just be careful you don't tear it. But all you gotta do is shimmy it up from the bottom. And then get it around this lip on his helmet. And you can see there he is with his beak. Look at that. Stratos, for the first time ever, rocking a beak. And I just gotta push this head back on. This arm out of the way. I'm doing this behind cam because I want to make sure I line the head up. There we go. And then you can take his fanny pack and you can plug it into the sides of the backpack here. Right there. And then right here on the opposite side. That's pretty easy to do. That's not very difficult. If I'm not mistaken, I think the backpack and this fanny pack thingy came as one piece in the box. But there you go. That also helps kind of keep the backpack on. It's a more solid connection with that fanny pack thing there. And that is Stratos, New Eternia, Masterverse in a nutshell. Looking pretty sweet. I like this look for Stratos. Let's give him his nightstick of Avion here. It can be easier said than done. Handle's pretty thick on it. That's what she said. But there you go. There is Stratos ready to rock. Looking tough. Looking like he just hit the gym. And while he's not the same body as the new Eternia Beastman, like not even close, I think he could square up nicely against him. I think he's a better foil for that Beastman than, say, the new Eternia Man-at-Arms we're getting soon here. So, with that being said, and not a knock against good old Duncan, but he just doesn't have the bulk and the fuzziness that good old Stratos here has. So, with all that being said, let's now move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is good old Stratos and all of his Sean Connery glory, alongside a fellow winged warrior, Buzz-Off, who we will be taking a look at tomorrow, because I gotta tell you folks, between Buzz-Off and Stratos, I don't know who I like more, but Mattel did a really, really bang-up job with these two. For characters I could care less about, I gotta tell you, these are some of the best Masterverse figures of the year. Speaking of which, we also have the star of the show, He-Man, Viking He-Man to be exact, and in my opinion, underrated figure. I don't know what it is, but I don't think a lot of people gave that figure its due just because it didn't come with the best He-Man head sculpt ever, which at one point I get, another point, he's got the cool Viking helmet head, why wouldn't you use that? I mean, come on, man. How many He-Mans need to just have hair? It's okay to have helmets too, you know. It's alright. It's gonna be okay, man. That said, this of course would not be one of my videos without bringing in the Mythic Legion's Brother Manibidith. And the infamous 11 Spawn. We're not out of frame, look at that. I do have figures bigger than 5.5, but, you know, we did a bit of an Origins marathon, so sue me. That said, I gotta tell you, while Stratos stacks up in his own universe, he stacks up here too. Looks like he could hang out with these guys. Not a member of the Red and Black Club. He's got gray instead of black, but, you know, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? So that being said, to wrap things up, some final thoughts. Overall, and for a character that I myself and a lot of other people in the Masters community never really cared a whole heck of a lot about, I have to say that the fine folks over at Mattel definitely delivered on this rendition of Stratos. And I'm 110% confident in saying that this might be one of, if not the best Stratos figure we've ever gotten in the life of the Masters of the Universe brand, because while I do love my 2000X Stratos, those figures are dated. They came out in the early 2000s, not the most articulated things, some of them break. It is what it is. It's certainly better than the Vintage and Origins counterparts, and I'm sure there are some people out there who are going to swear by the Classics version, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, this one is more affordable, and in my opinion, makes Stratos not look like such a cuck. I mean, seriously, the Stratos figures of old, they just don't seem to hold up, at least not to me. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.